Dogs are like your kids, and your cats are like your mates. Hello there, young man. I believe you might be in my squadron. What you want to do is get this cushion and go, oh, that's really, oh my God. In who we trust is their mantra.
So we're here to talk about your brand new book,
Yeah.
Wings of Glory.
Yeah.
It's a fabulous name for a book.
Thank you.
Can you give us an intro to it?
Of course. So I've done, just as a sort of preface, really, I've done 5 books about my cat, Toto. So the idea behind those books is my real-life cat, Toto, was blind, and we used to call her Little Ninja because she had these great reactions. And so I created this world where she was an actual ninja working for Larry the 10 Downing Street cat, and she's basically a crime solver. And then my publisher, Hachette Kids, said, look, you know, we're loving the Totos, but we'd love you, have you got any other ideas that, you know, set in kind of similar? Well, no, and I love history. The starting point was, unbeknownst to us, animals are fighting on our behalf during the Second World War. So I've got a Swift called Linus, who's on the front cover of the book, who signs up to be part of the Royal Bird Force, the RBF. And the idea is that they harass all the German planes as they come over, and just largely through in poo we trust is their mantra. So largely just by pooing on the windscreens and making it difficult for them to see, by which point the actual RAF can come and do the job. But so him and his sister come over from the Congo, but the peregrine falcons won't have him because he's not a peregrine. So he ends up in a raggle-taggle squadron of a magpie who steals everything and an owl who won't get out of bed before 8 o'clock in the morning. But him and the peregrine somehow end up sort of changing the face of the war. And I've had a riot writing it. I've really enjoyed it.
What is so good about animals as main characters?
I love creating the world around. So, for example, they've got the Air Ministry in London, and outside the Air Ministry are 2 quite silly, stupid pigeons who are policemen who's but basically security. I've got a First World War old carrier pigeon who's a bit shell-shocked and his mind's a bit gone. But he's this kind of national hero who everyone knows called Lord Speckles. So because you just create these characters from scratch, and you've got all the physicality that comes with writing for animals, you're all these little things that these tropes that we are familiar with in the animal world, but you can really have fun when you build a world around it.
Do you think that you like cats and birds and animals in general more for having written these stories and brought them to life?
I mean, I bumped into this woman. Weirdly, there was an accident outside her house and everyone was fine, but I ended up chatting to this other witness, and she was walking a dog and I was petting the dog. And she said, "You've written about cats, haven't you?" I said, "Yeah." Because she said, "I've got cats too." And we got chatting, and I went, "What's it like having dogs and cats?" And she went, "Well, the nice thing is, dogs are like your kids, and your cats are like your mates." And I thought, and that was the first. She summed it up so well. I thought, "You're absolutely right." Because I've got mates that have dogs, and you go out for dinner with them, and I better get back because of the dog, and the dog's waiting, going, "Where have you? What have you?" Whereas I used to go out and feel quite guilty about leaving Toto and Silver and Socks in the house. And then you sort of see them on the couch on the way out in 7 in the morning or something. And you get back 7 in the evening. And they're in the exact same place on the couch. And they sort of look up as if to go, "Have you been out?" You know what I mean? They give you that. And you're thinking, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And you just slept for 12 hours.
Do you make up stories for your son, Casper?
Yeah. All the time. Because he's I'm not sort of self-aggrandizing, but we give him books from year dot. So now he's 3. He loves to read, and he loves an audiobook. He's I don't sound like a company man, but he does.
Yeah.
He really does. And whether that's Audible or whether that's the the figurines, the Tomies and the Yotos and stuff, it's all it's all good stuff as far as I'm concerned. And actually, just listening to a book, he can get as much out of listening as he can reading a book.
Yeah.
And so it's all around him, and I love that.
Yeah. And so when you're writing your own books, what do you have to think about in terms of the language and the audience? Who are you picturing, and what do you have to bear in mind?
It's a really good question, because I wouldn't say I struggle with it, but I try not to think too much about it. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because all the stuff I loved when I was that age, which is, I guess, is anything from 7 to 11, was stuff that never talked down to me. And that's kind of how I've approached it, really, is in that, I wanted to write a book that entertains and makes people laugh. I wanted to have, obviously, a historical context in it, and it's set in the Second World War, so you've got to be sensitive to that. And it being war, not everyone makes it. So and even though you're writing for a younger audience, those are important things to write about as well. So I just put myself back in my sort of 7-8-year-old body and go, well, what would I want from this book?
Yeah. And so when you were narrating the audiobook for this, who was your favourite character in this book?
Well, I like Atticus because he is I cast him as who's his mentor, Linus's mentor, who's a goshawk, who I cast as kind of having a nice slow West Country lilt. The one in Scotland, Legend of the Wildcat, had about 6 Scottish characters, and after you've kind of done 1 to 2 Scottish accents, they're pretty much all exhausted. So I turn a page and go, oh God, no, there's another one. Well, how's he or she going to talk? Right. Whereas, so I was quite definite. I thought I'm not going to make that mistake again. So I was quite definite with this.
Can I have a little bit of Lord Speckles?
Oh yeah. Well, you can. It's my invention, so I don't know. I don't know why I'm now quite pressured. But I say, old boy, yes. I don't suppose I could be excused, could I? Because my club's around the corner. And I think they might be serving suet balls today. That's good. Yeah.
Can I have a bit of Atticus?
Yeah, I mean, my West Country's not great. So, hello there, young man. I believe you might be in my squadron.
Oh, he's very nurturing.
Yeah, very nurturing. Yeah.
And can I have a little bit of Linus, our main character?
Linus is just very hurried, so he's like. So Linus is very like, Ava, come on, must do it. Yeah. Because swifts are like that. If you just see swifts in the sky during the summer, they are just like just arching and banking all over the place.
Yeah.
So he's very hurried
And so one of the things I've wondered about the Toto books, you've written quite a few now. It's been a few years. What's it been like meeting the fans of the Toto books?
the best. And Holly, it's the best because firstly, when I was writing it, I never knew there would be fans. I mean, I knew there were book tours and things, but I didn't know it would be successful enough for those things to happen. So to do 5 books and to have, a loyal readership and to meet people who have read the book and it means something to them, it's just and then when you meet a parent who says my kid didn't really read and then they've started to read with your books, you kind of have to hold it together there because you're like, because you're behind a desk in the signing and what you want to do is get this cushion and go, oh, that's really, oh my God, I'm crying. And similarly with my illustrator, Nick, and Claire with this book, me and Claire haven't done any signings together yet, but with Nick and Toto, we would sit there and there'd always be, you can always tell who are the readers and who are the ones that love art. And obviously there's crossover, but the readers are they kind of like come up and, I'd like to be an author too, and whereas the kids that love art were always far more introverted, and they come up and they break your heart. They come up with a notebook and they'd show Nick the drawings as well, and Nick's so great with them, and so I can't tell you the feeling you get when someone comes up and appreciates your work, because on telly it's wonderful. God, that's my first love on TV and radio. But my broadcast, it's just there's an immediacy there. And they go, oh, I love your show. Yeah, I like the music you play on the radio. That's kind of so for someone to kind of come and go, oh, I love this when he did that. I mean, the kids know your books better than you do. That's the only thing I would say. So you get called out. So you do get like kids coming up going, in Toto 4, you said that cheddar was Toto's favourite food, but in chapter 2, in book 2, you said it was camembert. So, and you're like, you're both right. Their tastes develop over time. You're like, this kid's amazing.
And so obviously you have had to juggle this with your TV career.
Yeah.
And maybe you do always just sit down and write these in an office, but has there ever been anywhere strange, unusual, where you've had to go back on an edit of a book?
Oh my God, Judges' Houses. So when I was doing X Factor, Judges' Houses was always the easiest part of the gig for me. But then it was always the part of the gig you went, yeah, but I was up till 2 a.m. in the conference centre last week in Wembley, waiting for Simon to get out of the bath to come and do more auditions, or like literally like rapping at 2 a.m. So I feel like I've earned the fact that Judges' Houses isn't the most stressful part of the journey of X Factor for me. So, and my call time on Judges' Houses was always quite late because we always filmed into the evening. So I'd always have the mornings free. So yeah, I've done some edits of Toto in the most like Bermuda, I think St. Lucia I did some work in, and you sort of feel like Ian Fleming. It's a It's a great feeling to get up and have a swim or something and come back and then, you know, in your shorts be sat on a veranda just typing out. I was like, this is what I wanted it to be when I started. This is what I signed up for.
Yeah.
It's that or the little thatched cottage in the Cairngorms with
Yeah.
a West Highland Terrier and a
Yeah.
kind of like single malt and a fire in front of you.
And you sit out and look at the view.
Yeah. Well, in actual fact, what it normally is you've got 2 hours before you need to be in so-and-so. Crack on. Oh, God, really? Okay. I'm the worst typist as well. So that's...
Single finger.
That's flattering me. What it is... Oh, no. I'll spell check it later.
And so what is next for...
I've also got a keyboard up until my laptop died the other day, which
Yeah.
is the most stressful thing. I've also got a keyboard that for the last two Toto books, the J letter didn't work. So you would have to like hammer in J for it to work. Which when you've written a book called Toto the Ninja Cat, is so stressful.
Should just have like Ninja Cat.
Ninja Cat.
Ninja Cat. Done. So what is next for Linus R. Swift?
Well, I've got more, but they're going to be different characters.
Oh, nice.
So I think what I want to do is probably lace a couple of characters from Wings of Glory into the overall narrative.
Yeah.
So the next one I want to make about the SOE and the Resistance. So sort of TBC. So it can't be too TBC because I'll write it quite soon. But TBC for you, but not for me.
Uh-huh.
But I'm going to include a couple of the characters.
Can we have more of Ava's story?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I sort of feel like she's Linus' sister. Do you mean where she went while this was all going on?
I think that would be interesting. I also like to know where she goes. I feel like Ava's plucky. She got smarts.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do a further adventures. Yeah. Because, where they could go, the great thing, but the thing, obviously, about the war was there were so many different campaigns that where Linus and Ava and Marcus, the Peregrine Falcon, could end up would be quite fun. Yeah. Thanks. My idea, by the way. So, I know this is on camera and on record, but Holly doesn't get any... She gets no credit for that. Right? Certainly not officially and legally.